Bump, 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 bump. Says no one's here, but there. No, that says that there's 5, 10. There's either 5 or 10 people here right now. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it says the different venues and social media platforms, if you will, that I'm streaming to. It kicks in. KS, good morning. Purple, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Brew. I hope you are having a wonderful morning or afternoon, whichever it may be where you are. Elizabeth, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. I hope you had a terrific week. As I was saying, I think it's now sending out alerts to the different social media platforms that I'm streaming to. There are 5 total. And I got notifications that I'm live. Gemma, good morning. I got a question for you, Gemma. When you were last weekend, you said that you had emailed me. Did you reply back to the same email again? And that is the new email you're talking about? Because I can't find it. Now, please understand, sweetheart, I get hundreds of emails a day from people wanting me to push products, to people who just want to talk to me or say that they're involved in a case and that they know some secret information about a case. I get thousands of them, per month, but hundreds per day emails from different people. And then I get the spam and everything else. So I was looking for your message this past week, and I'm sitting there scrolling through, and I think you may have replied to something else that we had emailed each other on that connection, but I haven't seen it yet. I will look for it again later on today. I'm not ignoring you, sweetheart. Okay. Well, send it as a new email is what I'm saying, because that way it'll show up at the top, because it only has 25 or 50 per page. And I was going page by page looking for the actual message. I didn't get a chance to look for it until I think Tuesday, but I couldn't find it right away. And I think it might have been in reply, because I put your name in, and we've emailed each other a couple of times. And even then, it brought up a whole list of different emails when I put your name in the search box. Straight after the stream? Okay. Well, I'm truly sorry that I missed it. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you can figure it out. I believe you will. LOL. Yeah, I can get it on my screen. So this is what it shows. Hello world. See, it says host. On my end here, I can actually change the word host on the screen. So on my end, it shows Will, WILL. But as soon as I hit enter, it pops up as host. And I'm trying to figure out how to change that. Now, why is this an issue? It's not really an issue, but I'm using Restream. That's the streaming software that I'm using, the IO, and they just changed the format of how everything is on the screen. I've got to figure out. I have to figure this out today. How to add the presentation for trivia night for Sunday. But right now, I can't figure out where anything is. They've moved all the icons, and some of them are combined underneath. You click one, and now there are 4 things underneath that icon. It's a learning curve. Such is life, right? We live and we learn. But I'll figure it out, though. Change the word host to my actual name so it appears. I hope it's not one of those things where they won't allow me to do it, and unless I upgrade to another service, because I'm already paying for the middle. There's like a low end, there's a middle, and there's a high end tier. I'm already paying for the middle, so hopefully it's not one of those ones where I have to upgrade to the next tier up. But I'll find out. I have to figure it out today. I don't have an option for figuring out tomorrow or this week. Got to get it done today. Para 710 forward now. Good morning. Good morning, Para. I hope you had a terrific week, and welcome to this morning's coffee brew. I'm going to give it another minute here, well, 50 seconds, and then I'm going to get into what you see scrolling by on the bottom of the screen there. Those are the 6 different questions that have been asked by subscribers this past week who wanted more information. Actually, I have a 7th question that I'm going to kind of address with the first one. The first one we're going to talk about is Josh Duggar. Live and learn, my favorite words. You are very intelligent. I trust in you. Well, thank you, Sasha. I appreciate it. I'm guessing you're from the Canadian Maple Leaf, that you're somewhere in Canada. Philip Thrasher, you got to figure it out. Thank you, Philip, and welcome, Philip, to this morning's coffee brew. All right, I'm gonna get this started. So the first question is about Josh Duggar, as you see, and the question was: is Josh Duggar back in his actual housing unit, or is he still in the SHU? SHU, which stands, it's an abbreviation for Special Housing Unit. Basically, the Special Housing Unit at Seagoville Penitentiary, Federal Penitentiary, where Josh Duggar is housed, is solitary confinement. It's not just a cell, it's a housing unit itself that is separate from the regular housing unit where he was. They have dormitory style, and then they have actual individual cells that are part of an actual housing unit itself. But the SHU is completely separate, and it's meant for those who break the rules, get infractions, and so on. But the question is he back in the regular housing unit, or is he still in the SHU? He is back in his regular housing unit. He is no longer in the SHU. He was given credit for the time served during the investigation when he was held in the SHU. Now, there's some other individuals who are in the SHU that I'm sure Josh Duggar really loved being housed with. One individual is a transgender individual. Now, nothing wrong if you are transgender, or if you have a friend or family member or anybody else. I'm not disparaging that at all. What I'm saying is Josh Duggar, in his religious beliefs, believes that there is no way that someone can be transgender at all on their religious beliefs, and that would be something that Josh Duggar wouldn't want to be near. But then again, the man's a pedophile, so maybe he really is into it. But the family would have totally disagreed with him being in that housing unit with someone who's transgender. Along with that, there is also another individual in there who is doing time because he's a pedophile, but he's there for violent crimes against other pedophiles. So that was the other individual who was in the special housing unit, the SHU, while he was there. But he is back with his housing unit. Now, this is the additional 7th question that was asked, and this was asked by MM on YouTube, asked, who are Josh Duggar's visitors? Because one of the restrictions that they placed on Josh Duggar after they found that he was guilty of helping smuggle a cell phone back in from the visitation room back into the housing unit was they put restrictions on his use of the telecommunication device. They call it the JPEG Connect system, but they have a different name for it in different prisons across the United States, federal and state. Not all states have it, but a lot of the federal system has it. So it's a tablet that you can communicate only with the other individual that is connected to it. You can't get on the internet and surf for, more pictures to download or anything like that. And it has to be checked in after the visitation is done. So he doesn't get to take it back to his room and look up whatever sick crap that he wants to look up. But his visitors are the following. This is according to the visitation log, which I have a copy of. His mom, his dad, Anna, his wife, and all of the kids have come to visit him. And now she can't bring all the kids individually. All at, I mean, she, sorry, back up. She can't bring all the kids at once to visit them. She has to say, okay, I can take these two, and then the next time take a couple more, and rotate the children for visitation. She has made several trips there in person to visit him, but she most of the time she communicates through the JPEG Connect system to Josh Duggar. Additionally, Josh Duggar has someone who is listed on there as religious person number one, number two, and that's all it says. It does not actually list their name because the federal system does not necessarily list someone who is a preacher or a pastor of a local congregation, because they are there for the spiritual part of it with the individual. Now they may be doing it one-on-one with Josh, or they may be coming there and then at the visitation room be visiting with several different people. But this person and the other person are listed as religious person number one and number two. But those are his actual visitors, to answer MM's bonus question. All right, moving on to the next one, which is good old Chad Daybell, number two on there. Is there any updates on Chad Daybell? His trial is still set for June of 2024. His criminal defense attorney, Mark O'Mara, you might have seen him on everything from Crime Talk to he's always on, he pops on the internet and on TV. Mark O'Mara on Ashley Banfield's show. He's been on East Idaho News. But Mark O'Mara, criminal defense attorney, says that when it comes to Chad's actual case, what's new is that now his defense team gets to look at everything that was used in the Lori Vallow trial itself, and they're able to get a head start on picking that stuff apart. But additionally, there's other evidence that hasn't been called in that's still going to play against Chad, and that evidence is the GPS data that from the cell tower that is less than probably about 2 blocks, if it was a city block. It's across the street and down the road just a little bit, but there's a GPS cell tower right there and has GPS coordinates. It's going to be hard for him to argue that he wasn't there at certain dates and times, because obviously his cell phone was there, and most people bring their cell phones with them everywhere they go. So even if you turn off your phone, it can still be pinging off the tower and give a GPS location to where you are and your cell phone. There are ways around it, like removing the battery and waiting for the device to drain from the energy that is stored in the capacitors in the cell phone once you've removed the battery. These are things that people have done to try to counteract the GPS and cell phone pinging off of towers. But he still has to argue that he wasn't there. Additionally, when they call in the evidence, the neighbor who lived on the other side of the fence where Chad was having the bonfire, burning the raccoon, getting rid of the raccoon, the neighbor is most likely going to testify that pile of limbs and stuff that he was burning and the raccoon wasn't there beforehand, because there's the neighbor who lives close said that he saw Chad, and this is already public information, that saw Chad dragging branches and debris to the pile. How is he going to argue that he didn't know that, unfortunately, that Ty Lee was in that pile of limbs and branches? JJ, of course, was buried underneath plywood and wrapped in plastic and stuff, not even 5 feet from him. But how is he going to argue the fact that he didn't know that Ty Lee is in there? There's additional information in evidence that they haven't tipped their hat to, that they didn't have the option to use against Lori, that only plays against Chad. So that's what's new in Chad's trial. Again, its trial is set for June of 2024. I would most likely see expect to see the trial be moved up from June to more likely October of 2024. But that's just my speculation on it because, I mean, just like Lori Vallows, they filed a million different motions before they ever got to the point where they were able to bring her to trial and then convict her of the actual conspiracy and murder charges. And additionally, he still has to answer to how, Tammy died, and everything else in that case, and evidence that they're going to have with him there and his location and when did he call and who did he call, first once he realized that Tammy was dead. All right. Next one, number 3 is Lori Vallow Daybell. Lori Vallow is currently still in Madison County Jail. What's next for her that you may have seen on the internet, her most recent mugshot after she was convicted. They did take an updated mugshot photo of her after she was convicted. So according to CBS Channel 2 out of Idaho, she will stay there for the next 3 months, is most likely when they're going to have the sentencing portion of the case, and where she will then be sentenced to most likely life in prison. Will they run them concurrently or run them, otherwise? We don't know. That's all speculation, and there's a lot of speculation out there on the internet because of this case, and this is how the sentencing worked. This case and how the sentencing worked. Yeah, we don't know until Judge Boyce actually hands down and signs the order of the actual sentence itself. Then we'll really know what her sentence is. But in 3 months from now, from the actual conviction, is when the sentencing part is. After she's actually sentenced for the crime, right now there's an extradition warrant that is in place for Arizona to extradite her back from Idaho to Arizona to Maricopa County. There is where she will actually be formally charged, and then she will, stand trial for the attempted murder on Brandon Brew. And for those who wanted to know how to spell it, that was a couple of additional questions. That's spelled Boudreaux, Brandon Brew. He is the former husband of her niece, Melanie, who is now Melanie Pawlowski. I did not write down how to spell Pawlowski, but this is where Brandon was shot at. One bullet went through the windshield of his car. Most likely, the shot was taken by Alex Cox on Lori's behalf. But additionally, the question came up last week. Are they charging her in Arizona with the murder of Charles Vallow? I was not sure. So I did some digging into it. In the actual extradition warrant, and right now, it says that she will stand trial and face charges related to her former husband Charles's murder and the attempted shooting of her niece's former husband Brandon Brew. So they're not going to bring her there and then maybe charge her with the murder of Charles. It is the murder of Charles and the attempted murder on Brandon. So I did look into it, and I got a copy of the actual extradition warrant. And Lori is being extradited back for murder and attempted murder, both of those. All right. That's it for Lori Vallow and what's new with her case and going on. Like I said, 3 months from the date of conviction is when she'll actually have the sentencing. Next is Brian Kohlberg. Why isn't there nothing new coming out about this case? The judge has placed a gag order on the case itself, preventing anyone from, connected to the case from talking about the case at all. Additionally, what news you do see out there is more speculation or news where they're talking to former friends, school, work, classmates and stuff like that, and trying to gather whatever they can to keep it in the news cycle right now about Brian Kohlberg. Yes, we're learning a little bit of tidbits here and there, but it's not factual evidence at this point because it hasn't been presented, and the source of that information cannot be confirmed that it's coming from someone within the actual case itself, the DA, the police, or whatever. You know, and I ask people, you know, if you're going to listen to what people are saying about a case like that, look at the source itself. Where is the information coming from? Can they factually support what they're actually saying, or is it just speculation based on rumor or, you know, a hearsay or something along those lines? But that's why there's nothing new coming out about the Brian Kohlberger, the alleged killer of the four students at the University of Idaho Moscow campus. He was a student at Washington State University, my alma mater, and which is, it's really hard to tell where one campus ends on the other because there's a lot of extension buildings and farm, you know, test crops that go in between them. Does the property end here, and this is one university, and the next one's here? It's kind of bizarre unless you've ever been to the Palouse region and driven that highway. You really don't know where the two of them one ends and the other one starts, but they're that close to each other. But that's what was, you know, new about the Brian Kohlberg case. To answer your question, excuse me. Next, was I on Vice TV recently? No. But there's more to that than just the answer of no. I have done 2 documentaries with Vice TV and 2 additional mini documentary series. The first one documentary that I did was about a little girl who was murdered by her father, Billingsley, in the UK. And the second one was about a man who disappeared in Florida, about him being found in a body of water. So those were the 2 first documentaries I did, and then I did 2 additional mini documentaries about. One was about the murderer next door, and no, it has nothing to do with Christopher Watts. This predates Christopher Watts by almost a year and a half. But that was the first mini one, and then the second one is about Christopher Watts. I was included in that, but I didn't know about it. And then hell, Lifetime Network, Discovery Channel put me in their advertisement, you know, built boards, and they put me in the intro to that. And I never got paid for it. I never signed a release, nothing. They just used my likeness because it said you're a public figure. But I had no connection to that at all, nor would I have wanted to be part of it. But most likely what this individual saw was one of those. I have not done anything with Vice TV recently. I was asked to be on or take part in their most recent one on YouTube and social media. They did on true crime, but I didn't get back to them in time. I have enough on my plate the way it is to actually, you know, go out and do something additional. I get asked a lot. Vice, you know, TV is one. Vox is another one. That is, these channels are always reaching out to people like me. So, all right, and the last one, number 6, because I already answered 7 before, you know, along with number 1. What's your take on channels that want to start drama with you and your content? It happens. It's a lot of people love to jump into drama because it may boost their channel in short order, you know, in views and subscribers. But it's not something that I like to deal with. It's not something I'm ever going to be interested in. You're never going to tune into my channel and hear me bashing another channel or creator. Oh, there is one individual I would love to drag through the freaking mud because this individual keeps on stealing my content. And I've actually tripped this person up on purpose by releasing a video filled full of errors just to see if they would take it word for word. And they did. And then, you know, after they got called out, they took the video down. But there are people out there that do this. It's part of the game, I guess you could say. You know, if you make something or do something on social media that works, that gains traction, people look at it, they're going to want to copy it. They're going to want to take it. It's been that way since day one that I started on this. So that's the answer to your question. What do I think about them? I don't. I don't give them space in my mind or anywhere else. I just say, well, they say that somebody copying you is the ultimate form of flattery, but I don't see it that way. I just don't pay attention to it. They want to start drama. They want to call me out. They want to say that I'm wrong, that I don't have this information, that I can't get this information. I Go ahead. I would be more than happy to stand up in a court of law and defend myself. I'm just not going to do it here on social media where everything can be then taken and cut up and twisted into a million different ways. I've done that before. I've made that mistake. I've fed the trolls, if you will, but I'm just not going to do it. I have better things to do with my life. You have better things to do with your life. Yeah, it might be interesting, and juicy and all that to listen to, how people, don't like each other. Why can't we just instead talk about how great someone else is doing? Is that so bad? Instead of tearing people down, can't we build them up? Or like I do on my community tab, whenever I find a channel that I like, a subscriber of mine, if they subscribe to me and I find their content and I'm like, hey, this person is doing a great job. It's in a completely different niche than me, or maybe it isn't the same niche as me, and promote them. I mean, it's a lot better than tearing people apart. But that's just my opinion. You can do what you want. If you want to watch that type of content, have at it. All right. Good morning, Cement Shoes. Welcome, new members. Please check out all the members only content and enjoy. Wow, thank you, Cement Shoes. I hope you had a terrific week. Gayla, good morning. Francie, good morning. And scrolling up to see who else I missed. Hope I didn't miss anybody else. London. Okay, London. I thought it was Canada with the Canadian maple leaf. I think of the Union Jack, or something like that. When I in my mind, when I associate, I see something that from UK, but Canadian maple leaf works. I guess it's not really a Canadian maple leaf; it's just a maple leaf, isn't it? All right, purple. Good morning, Cement Shoes. This weekend on Sunday, purple. I've included you in one of the trivia questions this coming Sunday. Well, it seems that like intellectual property laws should apply on YouTube. You would think, Francie, but I mean, okay, let's put it this way, Francie. There are cyber stalking, bullying, and other more hurtful things that take place on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, social media platforms in general, that are a lot more pressing that really should be dealt with. To have someone steal your content and release it and tell people that it's theirs, I mean, that's tiny compared to the much more damaging things that take place on social media. I mean, I've had people take my videos, 100% of them, and just cover up my logo with a piece of paper on the screen, and then launch it as theirs. And they earn money from it, or do whatever. And they're not even following, the law, which is you do have the right to use the content, and if you're adding it in and then adding commentary to it, you definitely can do that. But they're not doing that. They're just taking everything that I say, putting it. Well, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but they're using a way where they get a transcript of it and then reading it off word for word, and it happens, but it's tiny, in comparison. I'd rather have somebody steal my content than go around, and tell people that they're fat, they're ugly, or and bullying them and tell them to kill themselves. In a given 30-day period, I get probably 30, 40, comments from people that tell me that I should kill myself every single month over every single year that I have been on YouTube. It's not just me. It's horrific when you go and you read the comment section on beauty and makeup and hair channels. Those people who are on those are horrific. They will shred each other apart in the comment section, and they will shred apart the actual host of the content itself. And there are other genres on top of that, that are worse. I just don't let it give it, space in my mind. Good morning, Reichard. I found a TikTok channel. I can't remember the name of it though. It's something 1976. It's on TikTok and on it also is on Facebook streams. On where you can watch like clips of videos from other channels. But it's a truck driver who is obviously the camera is not towards the driver itself, but it's out the window and it's showing all the different crazy shit that that they see on the road. People who brake check them, cut them off, turn without a turn signal, and stuff like that. I was watching that the other day, but I can't remember. It was like Jimmy something, or I can't remember what it was, but it's 1976 is the last part of it. 1776. Really interesting content, though. I got to see if I can find that again. Once I do, I'll give them a shout out in my community section. Louise, hello from Michigan. How is the weather in Michigan today? I hope you are doing well, Louise. Thank you for joining us this morning. You've had it on. Sasha is in Ontario. Are you in Ontario? Here right now, it is 70 degrees outside. I've never been on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or other social media, just YouTube. Well, Gayla, I don't think you're really missing much. Tourette's Trucker? No, it wasn't Tourette's Trucker. But the name is all one thing. So I think it's from Instagram or TikTok is where it's originally posted, but it's like someone's name and then 1776. But I can't remember the name of the channel though. But it's not Tourette's Trucker. I'll look it up, Rykard. I'll find it and I'll give them a shout out on my community tab. Probably tomorrow. It's in the 90s here. They're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm assuming it's Grand Rapids, Michigan. It could be Grand Rapids somewhere else too. Yeah, I have a TikTok channel. I don't use Instagram anymore because I get flooded on Instagram with private messages, DMs from women who are looking to hook up with people, or they want you to come to their porn site, or their fan only or only fan, whatever the hell it is. I got better things to do with my life. But YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I use Discord every once in a while, not as much as I used to, though. It just reminds me of the 1980s, like first computing, on a 486. And for all you youngins out there, that was we had the 286 and the 486, and then we had the 686 before we actually got a real computer that had anything of computing power. But us old people were like, oh yeah, I remember the old Commodore or the old Apple, one, or the Franklin, or and the ripoffs, the IBMs of the world. Us old people know that. You young whippersnappers you'll never understand just how lucky we were. We did all our stupid shit before the internet, was a thing, and before anybody had cell phones. So 1776 sounds like a Second Amendment supporter. but don't get me wrong, I like Bang Bangs. Well, that's what I thought it was originally. Gala was something like that. So I'm right along with you on that. But yeah, I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. I've got quite a few bang bangs myself. Yeah, I used to have a Winchester rifle in here. I think I finally put it back in the safe because I didn't want my son coming in here and finding it. Well, when did you get your first internet and what was it like? The first internet experience that I had was back then. They would set somewhere, and I'm looking around because somewhere around here I have one. That you would get these compact discs in the mail, and they would be like 100 hours of AOL, 100 hours of in Firefox or whatever the hell it was, uh, different things. But you would then log on. It was dial-up service, and you had to listen to that. Sorry about the reenactment there, but and then you connect. And the first social media experience that I ever had was MySpace. Before then, I was able to get online, but only locally, and I was able to post to bulletin boards, and that's what was on the internet. There was no World Wide Web traffic. You couldn't find. If you found someone, you found them through another connection. But bulletin boards, and that's I used to sell record albums that way. Was on bulletin boards, post things for sale that way. But we had a couple of local ones, and we had one that was more regional, not just local. You passed by my home yesterday, Will? I was in I-82, West Pasco, Richland, Yakima. I picked up lumber in Aberdeen yesterday at 2 p.m. Yeah, you did, Reichart. You went, if you were in the Tri Cities area and you're on I-82, you went right by here. Excuse me. My phone is on its last leg, and I've been putting off replacing it. You know what I did, Cement Shows, just this past week to replace a cell phone? We brought in, we have a young gentleman who is living with us, who is on the autism spectrum. I've talked about this on the Taco podcast, but they needed a new cell phone, and we found that the same exact model that was being sold at T-Mobile and Verizon that cost $900. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, $900 for a cell phone. F and no, I'm not paying that. You can if you want, but I'm not doing it. We found the same exact model of cell phone that was being sold at Walmart underneath the what was it? Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, because we have T-Mobile, which you can, as long as it has a SIM card spot, you can pop a SIM card from T-Mobile in it, and you can get it on the network. Maybe you can with Verizon and AT&T. I don't know, but we found the same exact cell phone at Walmart online for $165. $900 at the retail location, or I could go to Walmart and pick it up for less than $200. I went to Walmart pretty fast. I didn't break any laws though, but I went and got it. So check in to see what Walmart and some of those stores have for those prepaid plans. You might be surprised what they have. At Walmart though, we saw that they have iPhones, and we were like, "Well, you want an iPhone? It can be on the same network." Well, I like your haircut. Oh, thank you. Got my haircut, beard all trimmed up, got it all done. Let's see, that Friday, Thursday? No, Thursday night. But the barber that I've been going to since I was a little kid and I first moved here, they closed their location, and I could not understand from the stupid note that was in the window. It was probably really easy to read when they first posted it, but it had been sun faded. So the sun faded, so I had to sit there and look through the glass at different angles in order to be able to read it. But I found them, I found out where they moved. They moved about 3 blocks away. They've been in that same location since 1964. And they moved now in 2024. They moved to a brand new building all by themselves, where they actually have adequate parking now. It's gonna be a little bit of a shock. I went there, got my hair cut and everything, but it's gonna be a shock that they're in a new place and it's not the same old building where they've been. Pull over, Will. Pull over. Did the internet exist before it became available to the public? Yes, Francie, but it was used for academics. That is back when, uh, Al Gore. He never said that he invented the internet. He was part of the academia that was using it back then. But you had to have a phone. It was a direct line to the other place. It wasn't like the World Wide Web, where you could just surf it like today. I color and cut your own hair. Oh, that's cool. My wife uses a henna based hair dye. She hasn't dyed her hair in a while, but I reminded her just yesterday that she still had another box of I think it's burgundy color hair dye, but she hasn't cut her hair in a while. When I first met her, she had hair down to about the middle of her back, and then she cut it short, a little bit longer than shoulder length, and then cancer chemo got rid of it all, and then her hair came back, like in a tight curl, like a really really nice perm when it started coming back after the chemo. But then it eventually relaxed out, so now it's got like waves in it. But she doesn't have to do anything to it, style wise. Well, I say nothing. She would probably disagree with me immensely that she doesn't have to do anything style wise. She does her beauty routine, and I don't necessarily see it. Trained and worked with people on an autism spectrum, as I am autistic and find it difficult to cope. Gemma, where my son gets his hair cut, he actually goes to a barber shop, a hair salon, where they have like these, instead of like a regular barber's chair, they're cars or an airplane. They're made for little kids. But every single one of the stylists and those who do hair where my son goes have all been given instruction on those who are on the spectrum, along with other children who have issues with haircuts and stuff like that. So they don't use any trimmers, electric trimmers, anything. Everything's done with scissors, and they get to watch a movie. The entire environment is built around just them, and they cut the stimulation down so he doesn't get overstimulated. It's a great place. I mean, we are so happy we found it. And he'll come right up to us and he's like, haircut? I want a haircut. Even when he doesn't need one, he'll ask for one. So, and that's really good. I'm so happy that we found them. And the reason why this salon and a hair place even exists is because the mother of this the owner of the place is a mother who has a child who has severe he's on the far end, I guess you would say, of he's not all that functional. He has autism, but he has other barriers on top of that. And she couldn't find any place to, in our area that could do, and paid attention to what to not have, in a hair salon or a barber shop. And she decided to, to offer that services. She's booked out 30 days in advance every single month. You call, it's like, I have nothing available. I can get you in, at 5 o'clock on Friday, in a month from now, and you take it. So that's good. I'm glad you found someplace for yourself too. My son hates haircuts. Regina, good morning, Regina, and welcome to this morning's coffee brew. We're just chatting right now. If you're watching Rewind, you can with scrolling across on the bottom of the screen, which I'm going to change. You can actually hear the updates on those, Regina. I don't know how long you've been here, and I'm sorry if I missed you earlier. Okay, I can actually change this. I actually have a question you can answer. And there is the question. Q&A. Do you think Josh Duggar should have gotten more than 2 extra months for the cell phone added to his sentence? Sorry, I got off topic. Let's get back on topic. There's no topic, Gemma. There's no topic at all. We're just chatting, just friends, just hanging out with each other, having a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever you prefer, and relaxing. No topic at all right now, sweetheart. You're nothing to be sorry about. Oh, and Gemma, you got to go check out Taco Podcast. I changed the banner above the channel. Will, does your son still sing perfect lyrics? My son, when it comes to music, my son is the only one who is allowed to sing. When he's around, he's the only one allowed to listen to music. And to say that my son has eclectic taste in music and what he wants to sing and what he wants to listen to is, that'd be an understatement. My son likes to listen to music like Rammstein, but he does not like it in English. It has to be in German. He likes to listen to, Enya, and uh, what is his name? Justin Bieber and um, Perry, Kathy Perry, but he doesn't like them in English. It's got to be in German, or it's got to be in another language that he has decided that he wants to listen to it in. But does he still sing and sing perfectly? He will listen to the same song literally hundreds of times before he decides to move on. Today, he is listening to Snoop Dogg. And to say that, to hear him drop the N word and trying to tell him what the context of that word is, and he's not supposed to say it, doesn't mean anything to him because he's memorizing every word that Snoop Dogg says. But that's what he wants to listen to. And who am I to stop him from being happy? I wish he wouldn't say those words, but he'll move on. Probably by Sunday, he'll be on another song. Excuse me. It was probably my fault. I was listening to, I had a soundtrack that I was listening to in the truck. I was listening to Luke Combs. And then after Luke Combs, it played all of Luke Combs' songs. It started playing a couple of NWA songs. And I didn't think about it. And he really likes that beat, that rhythm of the songs that he like straight out of songs from Straight Out of Compton, and that kind of put him in. It's like, oh, this is all new to me. I've never heard this before. I'm going to listen to this. So now he's actually actively seeking that music out. Yeah, he really likes Morgan Wallen and Jelly Roll. He loves it. Their music. Well, Jelly Roll's an individual, but I'm obsessed with Avril Lavigne and Nickelback and Evanescence. There you go. Isn't Snoop Dogg besties with Martha Stewart? Yes. They actually they're in the wine business together. They have a podcast. They have a TV show. Yeah, talk about an odd couple. And I don't know if Martha is admitted to smoking the righteous herb 420 in it with Snoop Dogg, but I'm pretty sure she has. I think what is it? 14 Hands is that their wine? I'm pretty sure it is. because it's got criminal stuff all over on the bottle. My wife says it's not that bad of a wine. How old is he, Will? My son is 6 years old. He will be 7 come July. 6 going on 16. Yeah. I just love discovering. I just discovered Jelly Roll. Nice music. Son of a Sinner. That's the one that my son listens to over and over and over again. And he goes through periods where he'll listen to hundreds of different, musical artists. And then for some reason, he'll just pick one or a song and he'll listen to that song to the point where it's nauseating. You hear it in loop, nonstop, over and over again. And then he'll sit there and he'll look up the lyrics because he loves the internet. Most of the time in his spare time, when he's not outside playing, he makes videos. I wish I could share them with the world, but everything is copyrighted that he does. He'll take videos of, acapella science. If you really like science and astrophysics and science field like that, look up acapella science. And he sings about science, and he takes a song that is already out there and with the beat and the rhythm and stuff like that, and he then changes it to science content. But he loves acapella science, and he'll listen to acapella science for hours on end. But then at night, he likes to, I'm trying to remember what they call it. New wave. He likes new wave music towards the end of the day. But back to his video. So I'm jumping around here. I'm not making much sense. I hope I am to somebody. But anyways, he makes hundreds of videos, but it's all copyrighted material that he takes and then re-edits and adds words over. He loves it. He uses the same editing software that I do, and he's way more proficient. I sometimes just sit behind him on the chair and watch what he's doing so I can learn how to do things. I'm learning from my 6-year-old. I'm an analog man living in a digital world. I'm into drill rap. King Von. King Von's great. I love King Von. Can't see Gemma's comment. Any ideas how to fix it? I can see Gemma. I'm here. See? Hi, Reichart. I'm here. I can see it. All right, is it not showing on your instrument shoes? I can see her. You got a smart kid. Yes, he is. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand about autism and those who are on the autism spectrum. Just because they have a barrier with communication and being able to communicate with the world does not mean that they're not intellectually intelligent. Some of the smartest people I know are on the spectrum and they don't have savant skills. I hear that all the time. Hey, can your son drop a box of toothpicks and count them all just by looking at them? No, he can't. If my son has a savant skill, it's making people happy because he is the most bubbly, happy, energetic young little man that I know of. I've never seen him have a bad day to this point in his life. And if he has a savant skill, it is making people, it doesn't matter how miserable of a day you had, the bad news that you just received, he can find a way to make you smile. That's a gift right there. Thanks for having your son to learn from, Will. Well, thank you, Sasha. He's a gift from God. I'm a firm believer in that. After our daughter was born, we were never supposed to have another child. They told her the chances of my wife ever carrying another child to full term, was highly unlikely. And when she went through chemotherapy, it jump started her system all over again. It's a, it, believe in God or don't believe in God. I believe in a higher power. Believe in, the power, that you have no power over that next donut or cupcake or snickerdoodles. I have zero willpower over snickerdoodles, Gayla. My PO box is on my thing. Just kidding. I know she makes snickerdoodles, but for her husband. But anyways, it's like God looked upon us and said, "Look, you have time, you've got money, you've got the the space, you've got the energy, you have the love. Here's another child. Congratulations. We won't be having any more. That's all been taken care of medically, but we've got the two, and not a day goes by that I'm not thankful for every single moment of it, even when he's not, having, his way. He can't have another, cookie or whatever. He's got his bad times, but he's happy as hell, and he makes everybody happy around him. I believe in Jesus. That's my own personal view. To each their own. That's the way I look at it. I'm so ecstatic for your family. Oh, thank you, Sasha. I appreciate it. We do the best. We treat people the way that we wish to be treated, and we live life. We're trying to make the go of it just like everybody else. We're not rich. We're not poor. We're stuck in the middle, and we're happy. We make our ends meet. We're able to get by. For right now, knock on wood. We have the ability to, when we have our health. Oh, forgot to change it back to chat. Wish I could. I can't see your comments on my channel, on your channel though. I'm still subscribed to your channel, Joe. Well, thank you, Reichart. Will, you're amazing, an autism advocate, and I'm very proud to be your friend and to support you. Well, thank you, Gemma. I appreciate it. Lately, I've been fascinated with people with Down syndrome. They are like angels from God. Every child is an angel from God, in my view. I don't care what what barriers you have. There's ways for you to succeed. You just have to be given the door and the opportunity to succeed. Everyone is in charge of their own happiness. I look back on a interview that I watched with Warren Buffett, the billionaire, mogul, and when he was a young man, and he just made his first $1 billion. The TV interview that he was on, they asked him, with $1 billion, does it bring you more happiness, than say a millionaire or anyone else? And Warren Buffett looked right at that reporter and said, the money has never brought me a moment of happiness. All money can ever give you is security. It doesn't bring happiness. You might be able to think that you can buy happiness with money, but you can't. True happiness comes from within and with the people around you, and you deciding how to be happy and when you're going to be happy, and if you're going to be happy. Being miserable is only going to take away years from your life. Be happy. If a billionaire can think that way, Why the hell can't the rest of us? That's absolutely free. It's free to be happy. It's free to be you and me. In case anybody ever remembers seeing that TV show and movie in school. Remember they used to wheel around the projector on the cart from classroom to classroom, and they would show you those movies that just lasted forever, and you think you've seen it a million times, but you've only seen it twice because it's right there in your head. Oh, thank you, Sasha. I mean, the big snickerdoodles. My grandkids are arriving here on Monday from Arkansas. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Gayla. Get to see the grandkiddies. Oh, that's so cool. Is Tourette syndrome a type of autism? Tourette's can be connected to autism, but it's its own disability or barrier. We don't like to use the word disability, but sometimes you have to explain it that way for people. It can be connected to people with autism, and those who are on the spectrum can have other disabilities, just like you can have Down syndrome and have other barriers as well. A blind person can be born without legs, or only one arm. There isn't just like, oh, you have autism and that's the only barrier you have. You may have other disabilities on top of it. You might have Tourette's and have autism, but are they connected? No, they're separate. Love cannot be bought. That is true. Absolutely true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up today's coffee brew. I hope everyone enjoyed today's show. If you did, quickly give this a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, family. Tell people about my channel, whichever you prefer. And even if it's in a negative way, go ahead and do that as well. Tell them to check out this lunatic, who is on YouTube, who has no business being there because he's old. Whatever. Just have a wonderful day. And remember again, only you can be in charge of your happiness. And I hope that you tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as it scrolls by on the screen. We play True Crime Trivia. This week is Fred and Rosemary West. Faces of Evil. 15 questions, not counting the early questions that I post every Monday on YouTube in the community tab. But again, everyone have a safe weekend. And Rykart, I will look that channel up, and when I find it, if today or tomorrow, I will put it in my community tab to give that channel a shout out. I think you'd be interested in the channel. If nothing else, it's interesting just to watch what the hell's going on out there on the roads. I'm sure you've seen every bit of this happen to yourself while you're out there. But you stay safe on those roads of America. And everybody, give the damn truck some space. Stop brake checking them and turning in front of them. They might be big trucks and they're not slow. And if they have to hit you, they're going to crush you. And then you're going to have a hard time trying to live through that. So just keep that in mind. Thank you so much for your time here, Will. Much appreciated. Have a great weekend. Bye for now. Bye for everybody else. You stay